Hi, this is Girls Night Out with Lori Jean Vanilla. Ah, my Carolyn. Hi, honey. Hey, girl. I'm so glad you came. She's really happy you're here. All right.
Yes, 10 o'clock here.
I know it's 9 o'clock where she is, but she had to work. Hi, Lika.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Okay, you look so cute. I like your hair.
Oh, thank you.
Tell Emma I said hi.
Okay.
She just did your hair right now. I'm trying to keep up on you. So we're here with Girls Night Out with Lika in the kitchen, who is making pantry chili. Now, did you get your stuff from a pantry or?
A lot of it. I do get a lot of types of beans,
Okay.
and I don't remember if these were ones that we got free from a pantry or if I actually bought this. But I do know that this chili powder came from a food pantry.
Now you work at a food pantry.
Well, I used to kind of, but a lot of times what happens is since I take other people to go hit them up.
You bring some stuff home yourself.
Yeah.
Great. Oh, I'm really glad to hear that. We were just talking in the message over on Facebook how people are having a really hard time eating right now. And it's almost doubled in California. And it's really high in Florida, people just not being able to find food, even people that have been working for many years in the retail and food industry. So I'm really glad that you're sharing recipes that other people can go out and even if they're only getting minimal items, work with them.
So the thing is that I also love working with onions and celery.
Nice.
Even if you don't get them from a food pantry, they're relatively inexpensive, so a lot easier to afford.
Okay.
And then, of course, another thing to be able to take advantage of are the items that are on these hot sales. Sometimes because the cans are dented, or in a case like this. Oh, I guess this one did come from the food pantry, but where was it? Like this one, I think the sell-by date is coming up like in a week.
What's coming up in a week? I interrupted you.
The sell-by date is coming up in a week.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
So instead of, and of course it is a store or a generic brand, which might be only 99 cents anyway, but with it being so close to the sell-by date, I think I got this for 49 cents.
Oh, wow. That's great. That's really good. So Walmart still has some pretty good deals and food on the shelves.
Oh yeah. So what just kind of helps is that then even when you're on a tight budget, it's still relatively easy to make a whole meal by yourself, for your whole family.
Right.
But anyway, I'm starting on the onions right away.
Okay.
I even had my crock pot turned on.
Oh, I love this.
So that's kind of like my cheat, just because I know sometimes, sometimes after working a long day, or maybe you have health problems, whatever it is, it's not always easy to, have the energy to just come home and.
Yeah, Carolyn, I know that one. That's for sure. We're both having trouble with our energy, right, Carolyn?
Yeah.
How do you use yourself, Carolyn, now? Like, do you still do the whole thing of preparing dinner every night for your husband and the kids when they pop in, or?
Yeah, I make dinner every night.
You still, God, love you. I could barely do it when I didn't, when I was like a teenager when I married my husband. I mean, it was like he was so ready to leave me. And Wow, good for you, you know?
Yeah, and part of it too is um, my husband works at a place called Value Village. It's a thrift store.
Yeah,
They're probably one of the, well, they actually here in Southeast Wisconsin, they are the most affordable thrift store. They're backed by the Purple Heart, so they also support veterans.
nice.
Their prices are set low enough that the poorest people, especially on certain days, well, actually, there's something's half price every day. It's just that on Saturdays and Sundays, everything, the whole store is half price. And so, of course, sometimes they'll have a dining room table
Hmm.
with at least 4 chairs, and the price for the set will be something like $100.
Well, that's pretty good.
So, of course, on half price day, that all of a sudden becomes $50, and
Right.
here you got a dining room table and 4 chairs for 50
Oh, I
bucks.
did that so much with my son, trying to raise him by myself and getting no child support. Always at thrift stores. You all right, honey?
Oh yeah,
Uh,
it's one of the medications that I take to suppress the immune system. Unfortunately, one of the side effects is I get a cough.
I do that a lot, and I thought it was because of, well, it might still be because of the germs now with my autoimmune, but I'm getting better with that. I got to open the door today and take a can of salmon in that Walmart delivered, and usually, like, I'll start really coughing after that. I didn't have a mask on, and I was fine. I get like red rash. I'll spare you. Red rashes on my hands still, though. Like if I touch stuff that maybe
Oh
like the male people have been all over. Yeah.
yeah, and in a minute I'll show people one of my other hacks too.
Okay.
But anyway, but unfortunately, part of it with a place like that is I'm not sure how well the full-time people get paid or anything, but a lot of the part-time people are working on weekends.
Yeah.
And the thing is that they're probably making 8.50 or less an hour.
Oh,
And granted, granted, Racine isn't exactly the most expensive place to live, but that's still not a lot of money.
no. And the minimum wage hasn't gone up since 2009. I just read it, Forbes and Prism. Let me just get you. I want to make sure I'm giving you the right information. I found out about the food pantries in California and Florida from prismreports.org, and then the latest Forbes on the food scarcity. And yeah, I couldn't believe it. Like I thought the minimum wage thing was all fixed, that everyone was making $15 an hour now, right, Carolyn? Didn't they say they were going to do that somewhere? Or?
Talking about that for a while.
Yeah. Oh, I
Yeah,
thought it was just when the pandemic hit that was going to definitely be done, and that was going to be the solution to helping everyone.
Even
yeah,
15
and
an hour.
unfortunately, Wisconsin's minimum wage is still sitting at $7.25.
Well, it's supposed to be, I guess the highest it went up from 2009 was 7 something to 8 something. And I'm sorry, Carolyn, what'd you say?
Even $15 an hour isn't enough today.
I know. I mean, you're lucky if you, well, the people that are working at Walmart and Fred Meyer, and like I said, I just researched a little bit before I came in here. It's been a struggle for them the whole life. And, when I really sit back and think about it, because I haven't really thought about much. I mean, I've been so busy raising my own son and then just trying to get my own life together after that. It's really difficult trying to get your expenses straightened out after all that when you've done it by yourself. But these people have been working it for many, many years, raising families, struggling. And now since the food crisis has hit, um, it's even worse. So they've always been, about 3/4 of Kroger's employees are on food stamps. Yet Kroger gives a lot of money to charities, which helps them, I'm sure, tax wise, but they don't increase the wage for their workers. So now that the price has gone up on food, and the food pantries are really limited. They're under extreme stress. These people that are working their whole life already under stress. Oh
I
yeah.
don't know if you can see,
No, move over. Oh, there we go. That's the onion chop. Oh, the celery chopped up.
yeah, that's the celery chopped. The onions are about the same size too.
Okay.
So I have it in my preheat, or I put the veggies into the preheated crock pot, which helps start the browning process.
Wow. I didn't know you can brown in a crock pot.
Doesn't do a very good brown, but I just figure for those of us that are either extremely busy or we have our own health issues or just time
Don't have
crunch,
much in their apartment to cook with. Yeah.
yeah, I just figure, okay, it probably just gets enough in there to get stuff done. And okay, normally I would prefer to use like jalapenos, but I found these little.
Is that a poblano or a green pepper?
This is just a green bell pepper.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's good for chili for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and this way then because it's not very hot. Well, it's not
Yeah.
hot at all.
Well, I think greens are hot. Ooh. Or you can use crushed red pepper if you can't get peppers, because a lot of times I can't get peppers. I order my food in all the time. So don't fret there. But the celery and onion are probably a good idea though. Sometimes I can't get onions either though.
Yeah, which I think is kind of nuts, but
I know.
But it's just that it's one of these things that so the part-time people who work with my husband probably are, so the people who work the evenings also work pretty much every weekend. And they're also pretty much capped at 26 hours a week. Well, when you're only making $8 an hour, I'm sorry, that's not enough money, even if they get
Gosh,
food
like,
stamps.
how do you do it? God, and you just got hired at a job and you've been giving so many hours free to so many people changing their lives at this organization. You just got hired on it. But
Yeah,
I'm
but
shocked at this thing.
so yeah, so for me, thank goodness for places like these pantries, because
Yeah.
I think every weekend I basically feed the small staff that Valley Village has there.
Yeah.
And I probably wouldn't be able to do it without the assistance of food pantries.
And you help a lot of youth too there. I know you had one youth in particular. I won't mention the names or anything, but you help youth there too.
Oh, yeah, and so any young person that comes over to my house too, well, actually anybody. I don't turn away hungry people.
Mhm.
It might, okay, I always say it might not be what we want to eat, but okay, I always have something.
Now, where is this that they can go to, and what's the area? Just if there's some kids in your area that pick this up. I have a lot of kids that still follow me.
Oh, yeah, so there's a place called the Hospitality Center.
Okay.
It's located downtown inside of St. Luke's Episcopal Church. And what they are, they're basically Wisconsin's largest meal site. They serve a hot breakfast from 7:30 to 8:30. They're a warming shelter from something like 7:30 until 2:30, but they have a hot breakfast for an hour in the morning. Then from 11:30 to 12:30, you can get a free hot lunch.
Okay.
Every Thursday, they have a clothing bank. And I think one Monday a month, I forget if it's the first or third Monday, they also have a guy that comes in and donates his time so people can get a free haircut.
Wow.
And they can also get a voucher for up to 3 loads of laundry every month, so that they can take this voucher, go to a laundromat. If you have laundry soap, great, bring it. If you don't have laundry soap, don't worry about it. They will provide you with laundry soap and up to 3 loads of laundry.
Now, when are you there? So they can ask for you, like a Lika.
Actually, if they go there, they should ask for a guy named Carl.
Carl?
Yeah, he's the one that can pretty much acquire everything.
What if they just, where can they go to be around you though? If they just feel comfortable because they've actually seen you? Because kids will spook, and I completely understand that because I've seen broken systems many times. So if I send them to you, where can they see you so they can talk to you?
So for me, I'm at a place called Racine Mutual Housing. I'm probably only like 4 blocks away from the hospitality center.
Okay.
So when they come into the office, I'm most likely going to be the only person sitting there.
Okay.
And so whether they just want to sit and play on their phone or they just need that one-on-one, they can come see me Monday through Friday from 9:30 to 1:30.
All right, Lika, thank you.
Oh, no problem. This will cook all night. So what I'm going to do is I actually have 3 different kinds of legume type beans.
Okay.
So I have one red. So I have one red,
Okay.
one pinto,
All right.
and one black bean.
Oh.
That's just because I kind of like the pinto black bean combination. It gives extra depth to the.
I think so too. It's richer, yeah.
Yeah.
And then also put in celery, onion, and a green pepper.
Right. But you
Okay.
can use any kind of pepper that you want if you have it. I
Okay.
always go with the veggies that you already have sitting there.
Whatever you got in the house. Yeah, I put carrots in too sometimes, but okay. Yeah.
So yeah, I just dumped the whole can in, liquid and all.
Okay, liquid and all. That's good. Oh, so you don't have to go out and buy a bunch of tomato sauce and stuff, or
Yeah, so you don't have to buy a lot of that. I actually one time I was donated a quart of tomato juice.
yeah.
I didn't have any other tomato products, so that's what I dumped in my chili.
Wow, that's great. Oh, you got that little can of diced tomatoes too that you're using up.
Yeah. So right now I have diced tomatoes, so that's what I'm going to use.
Yeah. And just that little can for all that, which is great because that's what stops a lot of people from making these big dishes, is that you got to go out and get those big cans of the tomato products. And sometimes it can cost you up to $3 for those darn things. And the beans are only $3 and for all 3 cans sometimes. So it can get ridiculous.
Yeah, so I love doing those sales. So sometimes what I'll do is when I know that there's a sale coming up where you can find, 4 for $3, I'll actually stock up a little bit.
Nice.
Just to have extra.
Yeah.
And so what's just kind of really nice about the whole thing is, you get to get a lot, or at least a little bit more for a little bit less.
Sure.
I'm always about just using what you have on hand. You don't have to be, don't fall into the supposed to be stuff.
Right. Or you won't make these recipes half the time. I do a lot of switching around myself, but I'm glad that you're showing it here because I got a headache trying to figure it out. I want to mention too that you've done sexual assault counseling. If there's any of these kids out there that are scared to kind of reach out. A lot of these kids that are homeless, I know they've had a lot of that happen to them. So I know Carolyn knows that as well. Carolyn, do you ever coach other kids or anybody from your experience with sexual abuse?
Not recently, no.
But you have before?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I volunteered at the Rape Crisis Center in California years ago.
Gosh, Carolyn, that's it. You get a lot of kids or?
Yeah, a lot of young, junior high school age.
Oh my gosh. And are they homeless or?
Some of them were, not all though.
Your heart must break, right?
What did you say?
Your heart must break.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, it's just horrifying. I'm still holding on to that youth camp. And I just spoke to a woman who was Esther's wife, and now I'm talking to her daughter, but they actually work, or her daughter works at a youth homeless shelter. And, you know, she works at organizations and stuff. And a lot of these places are federally and state ran, and I don't want to have to abide by some of these rules that they put upon these kids because they don't trust the system. And I don't blame them, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm actually a volunteer for well, we recently changed names. We were sexual assault services, but now we're called Belief Survivors.
Love it.
B, like as in, you know, am, and then leaf, like from a tree, leaf survivors. Kind of to help people, you know, at least start the process that just like a tree, we can grow as well.
That's nice.
And just because we fell down doesn't mean we can't get back up.
Yep.
And so with that, I'm actually going to be picking up the crisis phone tomorrow, where I'll have it for a full 24-hour shift. And so I'm the one that, regardless of if it's 6 in the evening or 3 in the morning, if I get a phone call, I'll, you know, off of that. It's staffed 24/7, so someone's always there to pick up the phone if anyone wants to talk. And then sometimes it's the hospital saying that they have a sexual assault survivor that came in, and then I show up at the hospital. They do have the forensic nurse examiner that comes in, but I'm always there to make sure that I'm going with what the survivor is comfortable with. Because sometimes they just want to get pictures of the external bruises. Other times they are just there to get the treatment to make sure that they're not getting STDs or pregnant or anything. There's other ones that will get their, you know, go to get A to Z done. But I'm there that for however much or little that they want, I'm there to hold their hand and enforce what they want every step of the way.
You're an angel. This must be hardy listening to, Carolyn, because you've gone through this whole hospital forensic.
Oh yeah. I remember.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes it can be brutal because I'm assuming that all of us are, you know, somewhat or close to or into our 50s.
Yeah,
I
I think
don't
we
know.
all are here.
Okay,
Close
but
enough, Lori.
you know, we're
What'd you say, Carolyn?
I said close enough, huh, Lori?
Yeah, close enough. We're not counting anymore. Like, so what is this about anyway?
well,
Is this like really important?
I'm just saying, you know, I'm just saying that, you know, for some of us, when we were teenagers, there was no advocate that went to the hospital.
Oh no, you don't open your mouth. They'll put you away. When I grew up, I don't know about you, Carolyn, but that's how it was for me.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm just saying that for a lot of us, when we were younger, we, you know, if we went to the hospital, they didn't have a special forensic nurse examiner that understood us. It could have been just any nurse that decided.
Yes, they didn't assign special people to make the kids or the women or men feel comfortable, right? Yeah, they didn't have that then. Right, Carolyn, do you remember that? Actually, you didn't even live in my town for a long time, Carolyn, but yeah, I remember that. Because I remember one police officer that came over to our house. My mother was freaking out because she had been molested, tied to a chair by her uncle at 14. And when this pedophile who was living on Nutting Road kept trying to go after me and a bunch of other little girls, taking off his clothes and banging on the window to us, my mother didn't want a man cop to come talk to me, and they weren't prepared like to have like someone that deals with children or even a woman or anything, because she didn't want me talking about men's extremities to a man, you know? So, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just that, it's scary because I remember how a counselor or social worker from the police department actually showed up at my high school, which was horrifying.
Yeah.
And so we go into this little room, and I'm actually told, well, and this is by a woman. Okay, this wasn't like a male counselor or anything. This was a female police department counselor slash I don't know what you would call her, but actually told me, well, you're an attractive young lady, and I can see why he wanted to have sex with you.
Oh,
Okay,
that's perfect right
I'm
there.
sitting there- I'm just kind of sitting there like,
Let's go
okay.
eat 100 pounds of food now. I mean, they wonder why we have weight problems. You know?
Yeah, and I just remember feeling like my voice was like, tiny, like just
Yeah,
this
how old were you then?
16. And I'm sitting there telling her he had knives. He had knives.
He had a
Like,
knife. Oh gosh.
as in, he was showing me like different size pocket knives, like, some of them, the blades were only like this, other ones were almost as long as my hand.
That's
And then he's bragging about, having stuff in his locker and stuff. And it's kind of like, okay, this isn't about whether I'm pretty or ugly or average or weird looking, or that has nothing to do with anything.
no, he was causing you harm. I mean, he was threatening you, and oh my gosh, like
Yeah, and so the thing is that, so when I found out about this organization, I volunteered because it's like, okay, I realized that was, well, I've been with this organization for a while, so I was thinking, okay, I realize it's been close to 30 years, or right around 30 years. I'm sure things have changed, okay, but we also know that a lot of times things haven't changed enough. So
yeah.
I just figured, okay, you know what? I'll be damned if someone else has to go through that by themselves.
Well, that's
Unless,
why we show up here, and I'm so proud of you that you just said what you said. That is like huge, right, Carolyn?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
that is you. I've never heard you talk about this at all, and you just so beautifully came out. You look so pretty tonight too. I love your hair.
oh,
You
thank
really
you.
look extra pretty, girl. But you just came out and you said that like so elegantly, where I mean, I just felt so open, like I could tell you anything.
Yeah, and the thing is that I'm not this timid little 16-year-old anymore. And guess what? I don't mind arguing with people, and I'll be polite. Uh, and one of my most interesting cases was I had a young lady that came from the Women's Correctional Institution.
Okay.
And I just remember, uh-oh, are you still there?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so my phone must have been weird. Oh, okay, but anyway, when she came, when I first got there, here she is sitting in the corner, kind of like this. When it came to time to do the exam, because the prison warden, the first shift captain, and one of the more senior sheriff's officers from my county was there. And here the three of them are following just right behind us to go into the exam room. I just turned around and politely said, I think I would feel more comfortable if the three of you could wait right here. This
Oh,
is the only
yeah.
door in and the only door out, so it's not like anyone can go anywhere.
Right.
So I just think that for the purposes of being able to get through this, that I'd feel more comfortable if you waited out here. All
Wow.
three of them, sure.
Oh,
And
that's
they waited out
good.
there.
that's really, it just took you to take the initiative to protect this person's feelings.
Yeah, so,
That's
oh,
incredible.
yeah, but anyway, once it was just her and I and the nurse,
Yeah.
the way she just opened up and started telling her story, you know, and then let us know, okay, this is my story, but this is what I want to go officially in our report.
Right.
So that's when I picked up my book, wrote everything down the way she wanted it to be told.
Oh my gosh. I thought you meant the girl was saying that. They said that right in front of you.
Well, no, the girl, the girl that was there getting the exam done, because we made the warden and the officers stay outside.
Okay.
She was sitting there, okay, because I guess it was with a staff member. That
Okay.
there was some kind of a thing going with the staff member. And so the thing is that so she was telling us that in her eyes it was consensual. And
Oh,
she's saying this, so she's saying this away from the people that have the authority over her.
okay.
But what she wanted, so her official report to me was nothing happened.
This person that's being examined said that to you? Nothing happened. It was consensual.
Yeah, and
Okay.
so I asked her, okay, are you sure this is what you want in my report? She says yes. Okay, I opened up my notebook, I wrote down the way she wanted it written,
Gotcha.
and I just figure, okay, whatever they want to do or say is up to them. And I even let her know, if they have a problem with my report, you let them be mad at me.
Okay.
Okay, you just let me take the blame for what I wrote in my report.
Do you think she was afraid or something? Or, I mean, I can certainly understand that.
I think so, because she felt like she was there because she had to be there. And I thought I
Okay.
told her, you do have rights. If you do not want the exam, you have the right to say no.
Wow.
And so she's saying, you know, but they're going to make me take the exam. And I just said, I'm telling you that you don't have to take the exam if you don't feel comfortable. And that if they don't like it, I will stand in front of you and
Unreal.
say, you know, that these are your rights.
What
As
people
your
don't
advocate.
understand is when you come out, well, Carolyn understands the whole thing for years, fighting the system and having the laws changed to rape out of the country. But when you come out and you say something, there's so much rebuttal that comes toward you in your life. And to judge someone and say, well, that's wrong if you're not going to come out and say what happened to you. I mean, it comes down to, and I know you know this, Carolyn, it's making a choice of where you're at in your life and your safety, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And I know it sounds horrible, it does, but it really,
I think
really
that
does.
the change in this young lady's attitude, persona, just knowing that, you know, so she ended up cooperating with what they wanted her to do. But I think just the fact that someone was there making sure that she had her rights and was willing to argue for her, just like I would for anybody else, I think really meant a lot to her.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just to see her whole persona kind of take a little bit better aspect or turn than what she was before, I just figure, okay, well, I'm satisfied with this. And but
Helped her
anyway,
emotionally for the situation she was in. I can imagine what she would have had to have gone back
yeah,
to. And
but anyway,
yeah,
sorry about that.
no, 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 no.
So back to
Oh
this
yeah,
chili. I have this bag of
corn.
frozen corn.
I don't
And
usually put that in chili. Do you put corn in chili, Carolyn?
No.
Yeah,
no,
we're not
and
corn people, but we can do this, right?
yeah, it's not
All right,
one time I
thanks.
use canned corn, and the reason why I'm doing that, because normally I wouldn't either,
Okay,
but
but
it's
we're
just
using
that
up what's in the fridge. Yeah.
because I don't have any meat in there. The
Oh,
corn also helps; it gives it that
the
texture,
corn will help out. Yeah.
and and then plus if you do like a whole grain like corn or rice
Rice, yep, yep.
with a legume,
Okay.
you just completed the protein. You have
Oh,
all of
that's
your amino
great.
acids.
Yeah. And what
And
about the
plus,
carb? Can you count the corn as a carb too, or would you have to put rice?
right, yeah, so this can be counted as a carb and fiber.
Okay,
And of course, legumes are a starchy protein.
cool. So don't worry if all you have is canned goods. She might have someone might have a can of corn, he or she.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
even if it's a can of corn and you use like a can of corn and use your favorite type of bean, you can use navy beans, Great Northerns, whatever you have sitting around.
What about the water in the can of corn? Do you drain that? And the
Um,
diced tomatoes, how are you doing that?
oh, the canned tomatoes, I just dump that in there too for the liquid purposes.
Okay.
Um, and what's kind of nice is that if you use the liquid from the canned veggies, you don't have to add salt.
Okay, so it's okay to put the water in there from the corn too. Okay.
Yeah. Um, and anyway, I haven't added the seasonings yet, but here's what it looks like with all the vegetables, with the beans and the tomatoes.
Just move the camera there a little bit more. I only see the corner of the oh, that looks good, huh, Carolyn?
Yeah, it sure does.
Yeah,
I didn't
so
expect it. So you are such a good cook. You cooked for many years. Well, actually, how long did you cook at the wasn't it the hospitality center you were cooking at?
yeah, well, there I probably only cooked for a few months before I got my pinched nerve.
Oh yeah, yeah. Then you got your full-time job down the road.
Yeah, so I wasn't there very long, but here's what was kind of crazy. I think the time before that, my biggest meal that I put out was I barely fed 40 people, and that was for my son's graduation party, and I made the picnic food.
Oh, nice.
And so the thing is that when the shutdown happened, and I was first going in as one of the cooks there, their minimum target was 80.
Wow.
I remember the first time that I was going in, and I'm like, okay, I have to somehow feed 80 people. I wasn't sure if I was gonna hit that or not. I think with what I made, I ended up hitting 72, which I thought was not a bad, you know, I
Not
was
bad
short,
for
but
just
not too short.
to start.
So it was kind of easy to make up that other 8 to make sure that we
Oh, okay.
hit 80.
Give them something hanging
I
around.
think by the time my pinched nerve happened, my highest number was 162.
Oh, I know. I can't believe it. You'd be writing on Facebook all the meals, looking for rice cookers, and you did all that
Oh,
free too.
it,
Yeah,
it,
you would just.
yeah, and so of course, that I ended up surprising myself because I didn't think I could cook for that many people, and I did. And the day that we did the 162, I also had enough to make sure that I got to send some home with the volunteer staff that also came in.
Wow, you fed the workers too. That's unbelievable.
Yeah,
And you want
so
to do your own catering too, right? We talked
uh,
about.
so I just figured, okay, if I can do that, you know what? I think I can do this catering thing.
I think you can too.
Yeah, so
Outside in the summer, get those few tables out there. I know you're kind of afraid to do that, but doesn't that sound like fun, Carolyn?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, cool. I mean, she can feed 162 people. Even if you do like separate dinners, like separate parties, like party of 4 or party of 2 or party of 6 or something. I don't know, a few times a month on the weekends, you have like a covered patio out there or something. That would be really cool.
yeah, so that's what I was thinking of is maybe that's what I could do is I have a couple of card tables, I have a couple of you know longer tables that I could probably haul outside. So let's say if a family of 6 wanted to eat, because I'm going to be cheaper than a regular restaurant.
Oh, sure.
So,
But still make a little money. Give
it
good
does
food.
make a little bit money for me, but then like let's say that family of 6 who maybe otherwise couldn't afford to take their family out for dinner.
It's so good like that. Yeah.
So I just figured, it could be a win-win type thing. But anyway, sorry again, I don't measure. So
Oh, you put the diced tomatoes in. They look so good.
and then I just kind of poured chili powder all over.
Okay.
And I actually got this
Can't see, hun.
Asian.
They're perfect. A little bit more towards your face and don't move. Up higher, a little bit to the left. Perfect. What's Cajun?
It's a type of Mexican hot pepper, or it's kind of like a chili, but it's not too hot.
Oh, nice.
So the thing is that I just do weird stuff like just sprinkle a little bit in there.
Like a hot sauce, maybe?
So we'll see if it actually needs more hot sauce later.
Oh, I thought that may be a hot sauce. Okay. Whatever you have hot laying around, just throw it in there a little bit.
Yeah, so so if you don't like it too hot, you just sprinkle a little bit in there.
Okay.
If you like it hotter, you can add a little bit more.
Okay.
Like
Salt and pepper?
red pepper flakes, so whatever you have sitting.
Okay.
Sitting on.
Oh yes, salt is coming from the canned vegetables. Never mind, you already said that.
Yeah, so because the salt is coming from the canned vegetables, I don't add it anymore.
Oh gosh, that looks so good. Now, how long do you cook that for?
So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to leave that on low overnight, and that will be what my husband takes to Valley Village with him to feed himself on.
Oh my gosh, that is so neat. You are such a love. You too cook for your husbands, and they stayed with you too.
Oh, and I can get abusive sometimes. Well, maybe not really, but I always say I'm kind of difficult because I'm very particular. But anyway, here's one thing weird that I do. I'm gonna walk you to my freezer.
Okay. Oh, this is fun. I love freezers.
I have this bag, and I call this my dump bag.
Okay, now that's not stuff you eat, right?
So see all these veggie scraps?
Oh yes, okay, scraps.
Okay, that will go into my dump bag.
I got you. That's kind of gross.
Okay, I know that's weird. Okay, right. But what I do then is when I think that I have enough, the frozen. So if you figure the vitamins are on the skin and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, are you gonna make a broth out of that? Because that's really cool.
So yeah, so eventually
okay, so what if it's gross? I do really gross things, so I won't tell you.
Yeah. So this will go in a stock pot and it'll become veggie broth for something else. So then the next time you are making a meal and you don't want to use plain water, you have your own homemade broth that's filled with and I probably just put like a tablespoon of salt.
And you throw all that in and cover it with water, right? And cook it for a while. And then you got the broth. You strain it.
Yeah, then strain it.
Yeah.
And it just, it just sits in the open spot.
It's healthy as hell and it's beautiful. That is a really good idea. As gross as it looks. Now, I do that with my chicken bones. So I will tell you. Okay, so it's not like people are going to line up to marry me. But, when you get a whole chicken and you're supposed to make soup out of the carcass of it, you can't eat it all at once. So it's kind of, and then sometimes you don't get enough of the carcass. So, but yeah, if you save your scraps like that, you can get really good broth. And when you buy the broth at the store, it's nothing like that, like what we're making at home.
Oh no, and I figure it's all natural. And what's kind of nice living up here in Wisconsin right now is it's so cold outside that instead of having to worry about waiting for several hours for the broth to cool down to put in the fridge,
Because it's so
I can just stick the whole kettle right out on my outside table, covered,
yeah.
and the next morning it's frozen.
Oh my gosh, that's great. I love it. Just don't put the inner pot into cold water when it's really hot, because a lot of people don't
Oh
know,
no!
especially if you're younger. My ex-husband busted our cornmeal that way, making dinner for
Oh
me.
no!
Yeah.
Oh no!
He didn't
But
teach
yeah, I still have, like, some of the. Oh, I wonder if I have a set that I don't know if
Look at all your pots. My God. Like, I know, right? It's like you could feed
yeah,
200 people with those.
yeah. So I mean, I even have my okay. There's my raclette up there. My pressure cooker,
Nice.
blenders, and of course, here's my handy dandy Tiger rice cooker.
Oh, yeah. Rice, yeah.
Yeah.
You do
So
realize
that's my 10 cup that I have for home. For the hospitality center, I actually requested a 30 cup rice cooker and had one donated. So that was really awesome.
wow.
And so I think they somehow because it was kind of weird because I had to kind of rename it something else, but I always ended up saying that Mondays and Fridays are the ethnic food days. So I wanted to call it Mexican Monday and Asian Fridays.
I love it.
But I guess some people are thinking, people might think that you're being racist. And it's like, no, I'm trying to honor the food that, from
Oh,
these
I
different.
love it. Yeah. They just had a Black History Month picnic where I'm from, and they made them fried chicken. And Carolyn and I can relate to the high school we went to. And some people were complaining like crazy on patch.com, which is a local paper out there. And I said, well, if you're trying to welcome them into the American way, why not make cheeseburgers and French fries for them? Hey, you're part of us. Cheeseburger, French fries is the American. And there were some comments on this saying, well, they eat all these different kinds of chicken anyway, if I'm saying the words right. And I'm saying the only reason they ate these things is because that's the only thing they had to eat a lot of the time.
One of my best friends, we met in 8th grade, and she was, what do you call it, a refugee. And one of the churches had sponsored her family, and I had just recently moved, and so we ended up in 8th grade science class together. And of course, she didn't know anybody, and because I had switched schools, I knew very few people. And so when it came time to pick lab partners, we didn't have anyone but each other. And so, it was kind of interesting because she didn't even know how to say hi in
Wow.
English. And so I would sit by her and say, hi. And I remember how she would look at me and say, Ni hao ma. I had no idea what that meant. I think by the end of the school year, she would say hi. So I would say hi to her. Then she asks me, or she says hi, then ni hao ma. And I looked at her, and it all of a sudden clicked. She's asking me, how are you? So I said, fine, how about you? And I think that was like the one moment when we just knew that we were going to be friends for forever, and we're still friends to this day. But
That is so beautiful.
yeah, so that's what I would do too. Is I think one time because her family's traditional, so I think her family didn't necessarily want her going out with just anybody or everyone. But so her and I would kind of get together on occasion, and I would take her out for like pizza. Or another time, I think we went to McDonald's, and so I'm telling her this is probably like the worst case of American food. But let's face it, everyone loves McDonald's on occasion, especially the fries.
Oh, yeah.
And so I just wanted to just expose her to like everything that is so stereotype American. We're gonna go for pizza and hamburgers
hot
and
dogs and mustard and relish. Yeah, exactly. That was really cool. So we're gonna say bye now, and Lika has been an absolute angel. So thank you guys. What
thank
is
you,
this
and
called?
good to see you again, Carol.
Girls' Night Out. Okay.
Yeah.
See you guys again soon.
Yeah,
All right.
thank you, Lori.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
bye.
I just got to figure out how to turn this off so you guys can hang up if you want.